Hello there, my glow up friends. Welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place. This is the space for you to grow, for you to discover, for you to glow. Hi there, my name is Natasha, and I am so lucky and blessed to be here with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are going to talk about a subject that has been kind of relating to some of the other ones we've been talking about. Today's subject is all about our most precious commodity, and that is our time. How often do you feel buried in your busyness? Hi, hello, me over here every day. And aren't a lot of these tasks that we're being busy with, they're not what we love doing. They're not what sparks joy. They are not what brings out our magic. They are not sharing our gifts that we were intended to share, our unique and beautiful gifts that we each individually have. So many of us, especially as moms, especially as women's business owners, we get so caught up wearing so many hats. Today, we're a social media manager. We are a nurse. We are a therapist. We are a problem solver. We are a manager. We are HR. We are tech. We wear so many hats in an individual day, and each different hat, even for each different role we play, because as a business owner, we wear different hats. As a mom, we're wearing different hats. As a significant other, we are wearing different hats. As a single mom, wearing different hats. There are so many different things and responsibilities on us. And then, I think I've been thinking about things because as I'm getting things cleared, my spaces are being cleared, and not just what you can see, right? There isn't the kind of clearing where I'm still busting out of the seams where my room was clean, but behind all my clothes was a whole bedroom worth of junk and things that needed to be sorted and got through, that I'm always kicking down the can and later. I don't want to do it right now. I'm tired, busy, whatever it is. And so now that I've had this forced kind of rest where tonight, on any other night, I would have been at the gym. Oh my gosh, my instructor, he's doing 1, 2, 3 classes tonight. I am there. And I did one class today and I was like, yeah, that was it for the day. I can't even do the second one. That was it. And so being home more has given me this opportunity to get through the things that I wouldn't have intentionally not gone to a class maybe to get done. And by doing so, it's bringing in a sense of clarity, not only in my physical space, but in my mental and emotional, because I'm clearing this thing off a to-do list. Even though it's shoved in a closet and most times I don't feel like I see it, it's still running in the background. My body knows, my mind knows, this has got to get taken care of at some point in time. And each day that it does, it's running in the background until it's done. And I'm like, whew, what a sense of relief that is done. But how many of the things do we do that we think we're the only ones that can do it, or it's just easier if we do it, or we can't trust that somebody else will do it, or we don't know how to? If we learn how to delegate or automate certain things in our lives, we will free up so much more energy to share our magic, share our superpowers, the reason we are here, are sharing that beautiful energy of yours. So I really want to talk about having a strategy and a plan. If you can think about things take an audit of your life. What things are you doing over and over? Maybe you're writing the same email over and over. Maybe you're sending the same text message that you can, in a sense, figure out how to automate. Or maybe you can say, hey, I, like me, I talk about the cooking a lot here, how much time it takes, and today how much time I did laundry and all these things. There's other people that live in this house. I've divvied up chores before. Now it's on me because I haven't enforced it. And when they get busy or on vacation, they slack off and don't do it. But that doesn't mean it's my job to do, because if I pick up all the slack, number one, this is a community. This just isn't my house and my rule. This is a community. We all live here. We should all be contributing. It's not just mom's burden to bear. Especially at a time like this where it's I'm still bearing a significant financial responsibility for this house. I'm still bearing, every motherly duty that is around this place. So I understand I need help because I have facilitated and created this environment where their dreams could nurture and grow, where I encourage them to follow their dreams, right? And maybe unconventional, a son that, is deferring his UCLA enrollment to pursue a pro gaming career, is unconventional, but hey, these are your seeds. These are your things to nurture and take care of. And my dreams, my seeds matter too. And it's at a time and a place where I also deserve to have this time. And if I continually take care, or you continually continue to do the things that you can delegate, maybe one more thing and give yourself 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 more minutes to do what brings you joy and share your gifts. That's what you were here to do. We were meant to serve and share our gifts with other people and tell your stories and do your things. And whether it be you're telling your stories through your music or your art, or just telling your story by being with somebody else, there's so many ways that you share your life with others and enrich everyone else's. And that is where your magic sauce is. You know, whatever is your passion math. It's not mine. And you're an accountant and you love that. Or is your passion, spiritual healing? Is your passion yoga? Is your, whatever it is, that's what you're here to do. It's not necessarily you were here to do all the dishes and cook every meal. So perhaps for you, it may be, I'm going to delegate and we're going to DoorDash, or, do a Blue Apron, or whatever those other things are. Or, once a week or a meal prep or plan ahead so that you're not wasting time that day looking through the fridge and being like, what ingredients do we have? It's kind of done. And it's like, okay, that was the meal for the day. The rest, everybody else can figure out on their own, or whatever it is. So I really want to encourage you to take an audit and see, what things are you doing over and over that are being time suckers, and start to figure out, is there a way that I could delegate this to somebody else? Is there a way that even if I delegate it to them just once a week, or is there a way that I can automate the system? Oh, okay. I'm always ordering and going to Costco and getting milk, eggs, bread and fruit. Is there a way to automate it and have Instant Cart bring that to me every week? Starting to take some of these bigger responsibilities off of your table frees up that most precious commodity we were talking about. It's your time and energy. If you give your best of your time and the best of your energy to something that doesn't really matter, are you going to feel fulfilled in your life? No, you're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel drained. You're going to feel resentment because you're not living your life. Your life wasn't meant to be lived just in a supermarket or in a kitchen, or perhaps you're a chef, so maybe it was. But you know what I'm saying is that isn't necessarily your purpose. And so the easiest way to figure out your blind spots is take an audit. Take a real honest look at your life and say, well, where can I make some changes? Where can I free up some time, space, and energy? For me, I know if I don't have a schedule or I don't have a plan, I don't know if it's ADD. I don't know if it's just the fact that I'm overwhelmed and I very rarely just get focused time where it's not like, okay, about 3 o'clock, I got to take him to practice. 3 o'clock, I got to take 3:30 to PT. This. So yesterday, it was like I went into one room and there was another mess and there was another thing, and starting to kind of put things together where from the outside looking in, it looks like chaos, but it's like, no, this drawer and this bag of utensils needs to all get looked at. We need to sift through and see what utensils are we using, and then the rest need to go goodbye to donations. Trying to just downsize what's in here. Again, I went through an entire desk drawer. It doesn't sound like a lot, but going through that and making the choice, is this to keep? Is this to go away? And, 50% of it kept, 50% of it went away. Fabulous. I probably could have done more. By this point, I was like 11 o'clock at night. I was exhausted. I was tired. Same thing went with the clothes. It's like, okay, I have a limited space here for my clothes. What stuff am I wearing? What stuff am I ready to say goodbye to? And which is a little bit hard right now because, I'm very, very swollen in the tummy area. Sometimes I look pregnant, but it is what it is. And then I also have where I'm packing, so now I can easily find where my belongings all are, and I've washed everything, and everything is all clean, which is great, right? I want everything freshly washed before my trip, not having, some of the things could collect dust over seasons or whatever. So, yeah, I say all this to say, I think it's very important for you to share your magic, for you to share your joy, for you to share what brings you life and passion with others. That's what you were meant to do. And hiding behind all of these chores and responsibilities is draining you. And so if you can even just automate one system this week, if you can delegate one task, you will not be so buried in the busyness. Being busy doesn't always mean that you're being productive or getting the most done. Often means it's busy. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times like my mom has been like, oh, what's going on? Just so busy. I'm so busy. And I think back to my Aunt Betty often. Today, I was thinking about her a lot because these purple morning glories are just beginning to bud and bloom in my backyard. And I think about her because when she was here on hospice, they were in full bloom and she loved them. And this shirt here is in honor of those purple morning glories that come, and they fill up this whole tree. And I don't like them in any other seasons. Please, these things are so vicious in a sense. They literally will root on cement. I've never seen such an invasive kind of like pretty weed in a sense. But it does get this like weird pollen, and they're beautiful nonetheless. So they really, really attract the butterflies and the hummingbirds. And so today, they're starting to bloom. But Chris did some trimming of the trees above it to kind of do some maintenance. And I was just looking outside. I had to take a moment and not be so busy in the busyness. Like I said, there's so many days of my life that I was so busy, but I didn't accomplish anything. I didn't get my dreams done. And I found that today, like as soon as, like when my family wasn't here, these last few days, minus just one kid who slept one day until like 5 o'clock because he was exhausted from being in Hawaii a week, and, you know, is pretty chill besides the fact that he fainted. And, you know, I had to take some time out and handle that and keep checking on him and go to lunch dinner with him and, you know, spend time with him, whatever. But beyond that, like there was this sense of autonomy. There was this sense of, I don't need to cook. I don't need to, you know, it was a very different sense of things. And when the energy of the 3 males came back into the house again today, it was, of course, instantly I wanted to talk. I wanted to hear the stories, and everything that I kind of had planned and prepared for the day and even started my day doing prior to them coming quickly fell on the wayside. And it wasn't because they asked me to. It wasn't any of that. It was next thing I knew, I was cooking and planning to cook and helping cook and preparing and water. And I just got absolutely lost in the day. And when I finally was like, okay, I need to take a little break. I was feeling really exhausted. I went to lay down, and it was like, Chris came up to kiss me, like people were talking, like all these things. And I was like, my phone was ringing, my phone texted, and I was like, I just wanted a 5-minute break. Like I needed a little rest, and I didn't get it. And I eventually was just like, okay, let me just get up, forget fighting this. I'm not getting this sleep. The easier thing is just to get up and say, we're not having sleep today, and or nappy time. But I was so tired. Like I was so drained from going to the gym, taking one class virtually, and then them coming home. Like I was exhausted, and I really needed to break. So I then you know, did that. And then it was like, next thing you knew, I went out my little bit of my sun. And it was so beautiful though, because I was thinking about my auntie, because those flowers are coming in and she loved them. It was just such a beautiful and tranquil place. I have a water fountain that you can hear from the inside. I played this music called healing music. I just said, Amazon, play me healing music. And it was this beautiful like tune, and I can hear it in my head, and these sounds, and it almost sounded like an interesting Japanese instrument. This is what I'm assuming it was, but it was just so beautiful. And even in my own healing journey, there was a time where I was like, Echo, play healing music. And it was just nice to have that reminder of my auntie. And so as those blooms were coming back, I just took a moment to be present. We talked about this yesterday. And when I was sitting there and being present, you know, I just realized I was like, I almost feel like Snow White. I've got these birds coming. I've got hummingbirds coming. There's a couple nests. So there's like, I don't know what kind of birds, and they're babies. And there's like a Leo, my little lizard, that comes every day. And I was actually really worried yesterday. I'm like, I haven't seen Leo the lizard in a couple days. Louis the lizard, excuse me, is in the backyard. Leo is in the front yard. So I've got these lizards that come and visit, and I was like, do they have who is their predator? Like, who ate them? Like, where did they go? But no, nonetheless, they were back again. Vacation, I guess, took the weekend off. I don't know. But I realized that things like that bring me joy. Like, even though I'm not working and accomplishing something or posting on social media or, meal prepping or, helping somebody write a college essay, I'm still feeding my soul. Like, sitting out there in the sun, reminiscing and thinking about my auntie and the beautiful purple morning glories that would come and how much joy she got from watching them, because the way that we angled the bed, she could see all the flowers coming down. And right now I've created this beautiful garden, this beautiful space that is like home to this wildlife. And it's a very small backyard, but I've made the most out of it. And I've been before, in my journey, I was out in the front yard for whatever reason. I think it was accessibility. I don't know. And now have transitioned to the backyard because there's so many more flowers back there. And the time I go out there is sun. And it's just beautiful to be a part of nature and this part of this circle of life. And again, it reminds me, thinking about my auntie, that life is finite, that life is fragile, and that there are no guarantees. I mean, she was well and then got a, short-lived diagnosis of lung cancer. And, she didn't even make it a year past that diagnosis. And, we just never know. And even that year that she had, it was painful. It was torture in a lot of ways. And that was just physically. I can sympathize because I've seen people go through it, but I don't ever want to know what that's like, right? Like, I mean, in a sense, we all know, we just don't have a number to it, or, we can't Google and beyond, like, what's the average life expectancy for a female in California, United States of America. I mean, I suppose I could look that up, and that's just on average. But, when you're faced with a disease or something like that, I can imagine it's quite a very... challenging. I mean, I thought at one point my doctors had believed I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and that was like sleepless nights and feeling ill, and it wasn't necessarily even about me. Like, it was more about the people that I would potentially be leaving behind. It was like not being at my kids' graduations, and not because I wanted to do the graduation. Of course I did, but I didn't want those events to be saddened in my kids' heart because I wasn't there. Maybe they wouldn't be. You never know. Maybe I should not toot my own horn, but no, I know they would be sad. Or like a wedding or things like that, or the birth of their children, and just getting to see them grow. Like, it's not even about the big days, it's about the everydays, right? Like, it's about seeing them doing well at their jobs or having challenges and overcoming them. It's about them making these big decisions to change their lives in certain ways or touch other people's lives. So I say all this to say, we are meant to do great things, and we only have a limited amount of time to do it. Our most important thing in our life is time. It's so finite. No matter how rich, no matter how poor, no matter how in between, no matter healthy, unhealthy, we all get the same thing, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that is it. We don't get a bonus except for on leap year. I know. But we don't have this ability to have more than that. And there is nothing that will differentiate us from one another. So I say all that to say, use your time wisely. Choose what it is that brings you joy, and lean into it, and delegate, automate, and be intentional with your decision and your time. So I say all this to say, please, this week, as I've said 3 times now, delegate one thing, or automate one thing, or say no to something and yes to you. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please, please, please take a good look at yourself in the mirror. Pull down that visor. Look in the rear view mirror. Look at your reflection. Pull that phone, turn it around. Give yourself a big smile. Give yourself a compliment. Today, my compliment is this: I love that I have created this beautiful garden that is home to many, many animals that I see and don't see, and birds and insects. And it not only brings me joy, but it gives them a place to also come home, call home. And I would also say, please, please, please go out there today and give somebody else, because you've already given yourself one. You can give yourself a second one too, but give somebody else a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. So thank you. Bye.